Jang SnOw Yoonchul is a South Korean professional Starcraft player and streamer. He was formerly a member of CJ Entus, one of many professional teams in Starcraft 1 pro scene when it was a thing. However, he's best known for his place after OGN and MBC stepped down from the Starcraft pro scene for his micro-oriented playstyle, especially with Reavers, along with brilliant tactics. Well, how did this happen and how was he thought of back in his CJ days by Korean people? Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Okso and today we're going to talk about the brief history of SnOw. Yoonchul was born in April 1st, 1993 in Seoul, South Korea in the town of Nokban. Yes, I'm not kidding, he was actually born on April Fool's Day. Ever since he was a very young boy, he loved playing Starcraft, and to be fair, every young male growing up in the late 1990s and early 2000s in Korea fell in love with Starcraft. He first created his nickname SnOw because it was snowing outside the day he created it. SnOw would typically frequent the Asia server, searching through Gosu match rooms every day. However, he did not think much of it, as it was merely a game that he enjoyed. As time went on, one by one his guild members left for the West server, claiming that the Asia server was no longer competitive for them. SnOw decided to stay a bit longer but ultimately decided to follow the trend and move to the West server. After that, he joined another guild called Lotem, which I believe is short for the famous map Lost Temple. SnOw then decided to try his luck in the 2007 January Courage match, a monthly competition held by KESPA, the Korean Esports Association, for those who aspired to become professional gamers. The competition was divided into groups of 64, with each round being a best of 3 match. Only the top players from each group each month were awarded the distinction of becoming certified semi-professionals. Jaedong famously dropped 9 Courage matches before finally winning his 10th. It is difficult to imagine how challenging it must have been to become a semi-professional back then. However, SnOw, on his first Courage match, astonishingly defeated everyone on his way to semi-pro, in the most gigachat fashion imaginable. He later revealed on his stream that he only used simple builds such as 9 and 10 double gate hardcore zealots against Zergs on the map Neo Baekdudaegan, Forge double straight Citadel no Corsair +1 speed zealots against Zergs on the map Tau Cross, straight Zealot and Goons A move against Terrans on Neo Baekdudaegan, and 1 shuttle push after 2 gate Observer build against Terrans on Arcadia. He was only 14 years of age at this time. He was young, fearless, and he couldn't care less. That's some gigachat behavior right there. After becoming a semi-pro, naturally, he was invited to play games on semi-annual, semi-pro evaluation tourney, which is kind of like the draft combine of the NBA, showing the teams what kind of prospects were out there. To no one's surprise, SnOw bounced straight out of the round 64 in his first evaluation tournament. He later revealed that the apex predator of that first tournament was none other than Fantasy. However, reaching what seemed like some kind of Starcraftian nirvana, SnOw came out on top in the second tournament, placed third in the third tournament, which was won by Innovation, and then won his fourth and final tournament in just 2 years. To say that many teams had their eyes on him would be a massive understatement. Out of those teams, the first one to give SnOw a shot at the pro scene was STX Seoul. SnOw's opponent on this monumental evaluation game was none other than Snowkiller himself, Hero. I don't think I need to explain the full details concerning what happened, but it was clear that SnOw and STX were just not meant to be. Then the infamous, by then OG and Sparkies, gave SnOw a chance, but it was funny cause SnOw actually clapped a bunch of first team players during the evaluation matches, so it's safe to say that Sparkies wanted him. But that Hanbit Stars, later known as Ungjin Stars, wanted SnOw also. In the midst of making what could be a life-altering decision, SnOw asked around for advice and most of the people told him the same thing. You go to Sparky's and you done messed up. Never under any circumstances go there. SnOw decided to join Hanbit Stars a few days later. However, upon joining Hanbit Stars, things weren't much better for him. He was only a trainee of the team by the time, which is lower than being on the B team roster, and he was just laying low by then. As the time went on, Zero, well known for becoming the franchise star Zerg player for Ungjin Stars, told SnOw numerous times that Hanbit was a sinking ship. Young SnOw, still in his middle school years, scared that the team might end up nowhere, decided to opt out and join CJ in the late 2008. And this is where we finally get to see his professional career take off. Since SnOw was already showing flashes of his star potential from a young age, he was immediately put into the B team. He led the CJ Entus B team in the Dream League, which is like NBA G League, consisting of B team players with 9 wins and 4 losses, earning his spot in the A team. This was also around the time when CJ was modifying the A-team house, so most of the A-team players were sent to the B-team house to stay there temporarily. SnOw later on hilariously confirmed that because he was the youngest there, he was constantly sent to dishwash and clean everything up after meals, and one day he got so sick and tired of it that he decided to wash the dishes without any dish soap, only to be caught by none other than the legendary Terran player Zealous. Zealous, of course, being himself a nice, kind guy, just told SnOw that you should use soap when cleaning dishes up and did not escalate the situation any further. SnOw confirmed numerous times that he was somewhat uncontrollable in his younger days. Boys, right? Anyways, right after joining the A-team, unfortunately for SnOw, his first ever Pro League opponent was Bisu.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Who has already cemented himself as one of the best Protoss players to ever touch the keyboard. Young SnOw gave it his all in this 17-minute hard-fought game, but it was the Goliaths taking the win this time. It was as if SnOw forgot how to play Starcraft after this match, as he proceeded on to lose 3 more Pro League matches in a row, his record 0-4.
This needs to stop now. This is cancer.
He was sent back to the B-team roster after the last match against Bisu yet again. Damn you, Bisu! But quickly proved himself again by dominating the Dream League with a crazy record of 12 wins and 0 losses. He was matched up against Hyun back in Pro League, and finally, he copped his first official match win with a classic 40-kill Reaver that will define his style of play later on. He later did confirm that if he'd lost that game, he probably would have been sent home. From this point on, he proved his worth through defeating many high-profile players, especially the Terran players including Light, Letta, C, Haya, and many more, but his magnum opus, the cherry on top, happened on the day May 3rd of 2010.
What?
The god himself versus SnOw on Fighting Spirit. Might I remind you that this isn't just Flash being Flash. I mean, of course that itself is already amazing, but 2010 Flash was something else. Flash goes on to win 2 OSLs, 2 MSLs, 2 MSL second places, 2009 and 10 Shinhan Bank Pro League title, regular season MVP, finals MVP, most wins in a season with 57 wins, and a 2010 WCG Grand Finals gold medal to top it all off. This was arguably the best Starcraft season performance an individual could have demonstrated, and yet, this happened.
다시 가져가주는 상황. 이영호는 그 좀 전에 센터 던트에서 이영호가 딱 잡고 있으면서 초반 명령 이렇게 쌓였을 때 7시로 들어가면서 압박 넣어줘야지 이영호가
Flash, who had won 13 consecutive games against Protoss players prior to this match, was soundly defeated by SnOw. SnOw went on a 5-game winning streak, including a 9-game win streak against Terran players, to claim the Rookie of the Year award for the 2009 and 10 Pro League. He also qualified for both MSL and OSL simultaneously, but to no avail in both tournaments. His performance in the next season did not show much improvement from the previous season, and in fact, he regressed slightly, maintaining a win rate around 50% in the Pro League. However, he played exceptionally well in the 2010 PD Pop MSL. He took Prime Jaedong to a Game 5 winner-go-home match in the quarterfinals, nearly taking him down. Jaedong was a formidable opponent for anyone during this time, and Protoss players in particular found him to be a nightmare. This was to be his highest placing in the MSL. In the 2011-12 season, the final season of the Starcraft 1 pro scene, he performed well in Pro League, but his dream of winning an OSL was crushed by 0 in the qualifiers. However, SnOw actually holds the distinction of winning the final official Brood War Pro League match against Shine, claiming his first and last Pro League title as a member of CJ Entus. After that, he attempted to remain in the scene, but he was unable to find any motivation to play Starcraft 2, and naturally, he retired from the game on May 28, 2013. He later served in the military and became a Starcraft streamer, and he still streams to this day as one of the more popular Protoss players out there. The rest, as they say, is history. So how was he thought of in mainland Korea, and what's his legacy? Well, it's very hard to say because he had a very rollercoaster-esque type career. In his early days, he was considered as one of the geniuses by his peers, straight up winning his first Courage match and obliterating the semi-pro evaluation tourneys. A lot of people, especially CJ Entus fans, had a lot of hope in him. It is fair to say that SnOw definitely did not live up to that enormous expectation, but I don't think I'd call him a failure or a bust. After all, even though he didn't show much talent regarding MSLs and OSLs, but he was a decent Pro League player and an ace stopper at times, a Terran killer. He wasn't mechanically gifted, he never had insane APMs or anything like that, but he had ridiculous micro, especially with Shuttle Reaver, and crazy tactics such as Direct 4 robotics build, which defined his unique playstyle and was definitely fun to watch. His legacy isn't much if you only think about the championships and glories, but I would also add that his legacy is in the making right now. SnOw has been a top 3 Protoss players in Korea for a long time now, after he became a streamer, and even though he was unable to win an ASL yet, I believe that if any Protoss were to win an ASL nowadays, it will definitely be SnOw. And even without it, his stream's funny as hell. I mean, Artosis describes it perfectly.
Oops, I'm playing SnOw on Eclipse. Oh my god. Dude, there's no way to beat SnOw. There's no way. It's so... Like, look at this! He does anything!
300, like most of Artie's chat.
I don't know, guys. I literally just have no idea how to beat him. He's just so invincible.
Anyways, that concludes the video. Leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you've enjoyed the video, and as always, I'll see you all very soon.